Thank you.
Here's a question. Disney bought ESPN in 96, right? I'm just looking at it right now. Through the purchase of Capital Cities ABC in 96. So that's 28 years ago, right? Obviously, you weren't there then because you were there when, 17 years ago because you were there for 16 years. And it's been around. Yeah. So if you think about it, how much do you think, was the older ESPN better than the newer ESPN? And I wonder who is there to ask the question of that's been there for that many years. I'm sure you probably talked to the guys on the inside. How different was the old ESPN until they were bought by Disney?
With that, I don't know. Some of the true legends, like Bob Lee, who I think lives down here in South. Everybody, once you leave ESPN, you get the hell out of Connecticut.
You come to Florida.
Sure. Exactly. I'm on the way. I'll be here full time in like 5 months, you guys. I'll be your neighbor.
I love it.
About time, right?
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know. It was a different era. And remember, there were some books written as well about the quote-unquote good old days, not really at ESPN, and just what was happening behind the scenes, some inappropriate things. There's been a lot on that. And so I think it's better in many ways as far as, listen, HR departments are legit now at ESPN. I don't think that they were back in the day like with many corporations, but it's very different from when I started even in 2007.
Looking at it from the outside, there were 3 chapters of ESPN. There was this wonderfully disruptive, rebellious little channel that came up with Chris Berman giving nicknames to baseball players, and it grew. And then people said, "Oh, this is a beautiful unpolished diamond. I'm going to buy it." So it gets bought, and then it goes into this heyday of growth, being an absolute money machine for Disney, ABC. And then it kind of peaks and it gets caught in the transition from cable and satellite and streaming, and ESPN has been losing subscribers and losing the ability to extort, negotiate with cable operators for the carry fees. So what that means is suddenly ESPN now has to start managing and operating as a mature business, including costs, and then a whole bunch of ex-athletes that they say, well, they weren't exactly pulling on every show, so we're going to have to, and it didn't matter if they were athletes, just ESPN had a cost issue because of the subscriber losses, and ESPN, the magazine, came and went. It peaked out, then it became a cost problem, and so it was shut down. And ESPN magazine was a great magazine. It had long-form articles like Vanity Fair and stuff. ESPN, the body, you would see the bodies of athletes and what they went through to maintain themselves. It was just incredible, but they lost it because they couldn't make any money on it. And now you end up where ESPN is trying to find its way forward. And at the Allen conference 2 years ago,
Disney's trying to sell them, though.
Iger was trying to sell ESPN, and to the point that ESPN right now, I believe, has bitten the hand that fed it. They've gone behind the leagues to make a unified sports channel in concert with, I believe it's Fox and NBC. They're coming together to do that. And the leagues don't like this because that means that they're not all competing with each other. Because you used to bring NBC and ABC in and say, who is going to pay you $1 billion X for the Olympics, and get them against each other. If they're all together, that can't happen. So right now, ESPN is trying to find a financial future in the middle of streaming wars, and it's having an impact. Meanwhile, all of the woke stuff comes down in the middle of this and creates all these situations. And this is just my analysis from the outside, looking at the financial arc. What would you add?
That's a lot. You are definitely
he's a historian.
I tried to compress it.
Well, but the streaming thing, I mean, I was listening to a lot of those conversations for years, and down at some of the meetings with potential sponsors and advertisers in Orlando, probably 2017, 2018, and speaking and emceeing there. And that was definitely a concern. And you had some people who were like, at the time, the president CEO was John Skipper. And then his time there ended unceremoniously. And he was talking all about, this is not as big of a deal, and calm down. We aren't losing that many numbers. And other people in the room were like, really? Like this ain't going away.
It's like when Bill Gates said the internet's not going to be a big thing.
Right? Yeah. Oops. Exactly. So listen, they've been aware and trying to battle and fight and do the right thing. I think the reason we all know the reason that ESPN is still relevant, and I think will be, is because of programming. When you have live programming like that, and you are, paying whatever it is, you could look it up real quick, for the college football playoff and the national championship, And also like the NBA finals on ABC and ESPN. I mean, when you are crowning those on your air, and just all the college football programming every single Saturday. Well, now it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, right? People will go to watch you even if they don't like you because you have that programming. They finally got a Super Bowl coming up. When is it? 27, 28, something like that. So
really, ESPN secured a Super Bowl?
ESPN, yeah. It's one of the reasons why Joe Buck and Troy Aikman are here as well. I don't know which happened first, chicken or the egg there. But yeah, so you must pay billions of dollars for those broadcast rights in order to remain relevant. And they've been able to do that more so than, Fox and NBC especially with the college football playoff. You got to hang on to that.
In the middle of all that, there was a rumor at PBD when NFL Sunday Ticket was going away from AT&T, because AT&T owned DirecTV. And after 25 years, Sunday Ticket was the reason that people would get DirecTV outside of Omaha where you didn't have good cable and you can get every single game. And that got diluted. And there was a rumor that ESPN was the lead bidder until YouTube swooped in and paid megabucks and took it. So
if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.